Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. It's SP Draws. It is finally Christmas. I'm so excited. The day is finally here. It's time for festivities. So as you can see, I am in a new filming area. I am actually at my parents' house again, of course, for Christmas. And they have gotten me the most amazing gifts in the world. If my face looks a little strange, that might be because I just cried my eyes out earlier because of the gifts that they got me. They got me things to help me with YouTube. They worked with my boyfriend to help figure out what was the best kind of like things to get. So they've gotten me a bunch of things to help me with YouTube, and I'm currently using all of them. And I'm so excited. I really hope this will help my channel, and I really hope that it'll help my video quality. So I'm so excited to continue to use all of these things and experiment and see how they will help me better my channel. So I have a very special video for you today, and we are going to take a look back into the past at my old art. So I have some things that are, for the most part, all traditional, so either paintings or drawings. So to be honest, my memory is not great. I think most of these are from my sophomore and junior year. So a little background about my college years was I went in after high school, I took a year off, and I just tried to save up as much money as I could because I could not afford it after getting in. So I reapplied, got in again, and I saved up some money and I was able to go. So I went in thinking that I was going to be a photography major, while I did really enjoy drawing as well as painting. So when I got there, I was like, well, maybe I'll change my major to painting. So I decided to change my major to painting. So I took painting 1, which is required for everyone as a foundation year requirement, and I took painting 2, and I believe I did these in painting 2. So the first one is a self-portrait. It's not horrible, but it's yeah, I had pink hair and stuff. I do see myself in it, which is pretty cool. I loved painting super tiny things. I did a whole series using only like tiny little illustrations. So this is that. I don't really remember what the assignment was, to be honest, or if it was for fun. It's just a self-portrait. These were done in painting 2, which was my sophomore year of college, and I just remember not having a great experience in that class, and to be honest, it kind of steered me away from wanting to be a painter and painting major. It made me more focused. In the meanwhile, I was working on illustrations. I was taking illustration classes, and I was kind of like figuring out what that was and what that meant, because there is sort of a fine line between like an illustrator and a painter, because there are painters that illustrate and there are illustrators that paint. So it's like, what? But let me reassure you that it's very different. Sort of. Okay. So I just remember these being like the starting point to finding my love for patterns. So I painted these of my best friend and my roommate at the time, and I was like, girl, I need to paint you. Can you just like, you know, sit there and be on your laptop, whatever. I think she like laid down to take a nap, so it probably went like this. More detail. Also, I love the edges. So I had never done digital illustration. I think I either did it my last semester of sophomore year or my first semester of junior year, but I had never touched digital. I had no idea what it was. I was like, huh? I think I had a tablet laying around my house somewhere, like a really cheap one. I don't know why, I just never used it. This was an illustration that I did for clearly Dr. Seuss. So whenever I did this, I remember being so proud of it, and I used like drawn elements and ink elements and painting elements, and I was just like, wow. And then I cut it out and I was like, this looks so cool. And then I got my crit, and everyone was like, why didn't you like, you know, draw the balloon and like, you know, shape it to the thing? So I'm like, yeah, that would have made sense, but I don't know how. My brain doesn't work like that. I was learning, so. I believe this was also done my sophomore year in my illustration class, and I don't remember what the assignment was. I think it was just like a bunch of random elements that you had to put together. So I was still kind of obsessed with Final Fantasy X. This element right here is just like straight up Final Fantasy. I just copied it, and that's a sphere thing, and that is bad, and that is probably plagiarism, but I got away with it because no one knew what it was. So bad me. I guess it's like fan art or whatever. This probably is also like a Final Fantasy element, and these are definitely a Final Fantasy element. I kind of made them my own, but there were these like floating pillars towards the end of the game. Actually, it was Final Fantasy X too. Sorry. So I think this was sophomore year. I don't remember what it was about or anything, but I just remember it had to be in black and white, or grayscale or something. That's, yeah. Not super happy with this one either. This looks like a spot illustration that I would have done for like book illustration, which was junior year, I think. I took so many classes, I don't even remember. My memory is not good, like I said. Yeah, I'm not in love with this one. But this one, I don't completely hate. You know, there are some really nice things that are happening. Like that crisp line on that tree. Ooh, ah. And like those shoes. This is something else that I made in book illustration. I think this was the first or second assignment. Oh my god. I hate most of this. The color palette is pretty good, but I hate most of this. So this was a book. This was I don't know where, I think this is where it starts, to be honest. So let's go through this together. So this is the cover. There's no title. There's a hanger and there's a girl. I don't know, I guess she's wearing the dress that she got, and there's a ribbon. I think it was like some magical girl thing, knowing me. Singing and dancing, talking to the cat maybe? I don't know. And then the cat is jumping. I actually don't totally hate the way that I drew this cat. I like the colors a lot. This is straight up out of a BTS music video. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? When they're on top of the pile of clothes. So, but you know, I did it first. Yeah, she's dreaming. Nope, that's the other way. What was I doing? How do I do this? Is this it? Is that the end of the story? I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. Did I look at it all? Oh, I missed something. Oh, oops, my bad. Yeah, she fell into a pile of clothing. BTS music video, blah, blah, blah. Something about the dress. Something about something. I love the colors that I did for this book, and I remember being really proud of the colors when I drew this, but I have no idea what the hell is going on. These are some character designs of a girl that I was writing a book about and illustrating a book, a part of a book. So there it is. So from that, I illustrated the girl. I decided that she was going to wear overalls, and the book was going to be about fireflies. She is outside catching a firefly. However, this looks very... it looks like daytime. So these were from that same book, that same class, everything. These are my 2 final pages with words, with type, with everything. I also had to illustrate a book cover for it, and I don't know where that went, but I was pretty happy with my book cover. This was back in my digital learning phase. I had gotten a little bit better with this. I think I kind of knew how to use layers. This is when I was experimenting with texture, so I would take pictures of my clothes and like textures of fabrics and textures of things and like put it over certain elements. Like you can see, and her skin is textured. This was a like extra credit final thing. The style that I drew her in is a little different. So this is when I started to actually try to like add more texture. So this was from my other class. This was like junior 1 illustration or something, I think. So I'm kind of throwing it back a little bit. This is when I was super bad at digital, so you can clearly tell I was learning and I was figuring things out. I don't completely hate the color palette. Still, you can clearly tell I don't know what I'm doing. I'm learning. I'm figuring out that like you don't always have to use a black outline. What? Art school. So I remember these not going over super well with my class and my teacher. But you know what? I think, yeah, I remember. So this is actually based on me, based on a true story. So the mom has some shoes in her hand and I don't know, they're going to get new shoes, right? But it's because, which I clearly could have exaggerated this more, but it's because the little girl's feet are too big. So her feet are too big to fit all of these shoes in the whole shoe store. So the story is based on me. I do have very large feet, and I remember that when I was younger, my mom and my dad used to tell me that my feet were gonna get so big that shoes wouldn't fit me anymore and I'd have to wear shoe boxes. And I believed them. And that terrified me as a child. So there was this, I think this was like we had to illustrate a book or something. So this is Frog and Toad. I loved Frog and Toad when I was younger. I remember everybody was like talking about how sad my Toad looked. I think this was the first draft, and then I redid it and everyone was like, Toad looks so depressed. Like, is he gonna like kill himself or something? I don't know. It was really, yeah, art school. This is one of the assignments closer to the end of the year in that class. It was like junior illustration 1 or something. These were 7 Deadly Sins cards, so we had to actually make the legitimate like card. So my sin was gluttony, I think. I haven't talked a lot about style, but I didn't have a style back when. So these are the cards. This is the queen. I don't know, this is not that great. One of the biggest challenges is that they had to work both ways. So this way, you know, and this way, and then we had to do like the back of the cards. This quality is horrible. Oh my god, I look at it now and I'm like, damn, no wonder they hated you. Here's the king. Here's the king drinking lots of wine. So these are my cards. Dusty. So these are the cards that I made for the class. Same class. This was my final. This was like the draft, the first final. I think it was like the final, but then she like let us redo stuff. We're back when I started to discover this new style of making things look more textured and realistic. So as you can see, I started to like go in with texture on like her skirt and stuff, and like fabric textures and hair textures, and I actually like drew all these kids. I mean, this was like a big step for me in my, I don't want to say portfolio, but in my learning experience. I really enjoy looking back at my old work. I hope that you guys enjoyed it as well. Thank you again so much for watching. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, 'tis the season, happy winter wherever you may live, and I will see you next time. Thanks. Bye guys.